Hey everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel, and today we will be learning about percentage, which we see in CBSE class 7. So let's get started. So before learning about percentage, we should closely look at this word called percent. Now in this word percent, the first three letters per tells us it is every cent. That is, cent is 100. That means that we are going to compare. Again, we are comparing quantities like we did in the last chapter, that is ratio and proportions. So here also we will be comparing quantities, but we will make it more easier by comparing with all the numbers with base 100. That means we are going to have fractions which all of them have the same base. So it becomes easier to compare the numerators. So let's see for an example. If I say 30 by 100 and 40 by 100. Now if I ask a question which is greater, now just looking at the fractions you can tell me that 40 by 100 is greater. Now the same way, if I write down two fractions, let's say 3 by 5 and 2 by 5. Now here again we have 3 by 5 which is greater. Now the one common thing that you can see here is the denominators are same. So what we are aiming to do in this chapter is we are going to get all the quantities down to the same denominator so that the comparison becomes easier. So first let's understand what is percentage in detail. So let's say I write a number out of the denominator 100. So the denominator is 100 and the numerator is, let's say, 25. Now this percent has a very unique symbol. It's like this. The percentage is represented this way, and you can write 25 before it. 25%. Now percent already means that it is by denominator 100. Now to see, we have lot of types of representation of numbers like decimals, fractions, whole numbers. We have different types of representations. So you have already seen that we have converted a fraction into percentage. Now let's see what are the other conversions that we have. We can represent a decimal in terms of percentage. So let's start with that. So here I have four number lines. First one represents the decimal fraction, equivalent fractions out of 100. So any fraction will be converted into a denominator with 100, and then the same number we will represent it as percentage. So let's start. The first number that we see will be 0.1. Now 0.1 is a decimal which can be converted into fraction. 0.1 is nothing but 1 by 10. So 1 by 10 has the equivalent fraction. We have to change it into something denominator of 100. So 1 by 10, I multiply it by 10 in the denominator. I do the same thing on the numerator as well. So this gives me 10 by 100. This is 10 by 100. And now we can represent the same thing as 10%. So this becomes 10%. That means 0.1 has been represented as 10%. Now the same thing we can write as 0.2. The next number 0.2 will be 2 by 10. Again we'll get it to equivalent fraction, that will become 20 by 100, and the equivalent percentage will now become 20%. So coming to the next topic, we will see how to convert these numbers into percentage or percentage back into the numbers. So the first example we'll be taking is converting fractions to percentage. So let's start with the example 3 by 4. 3 by 4 into, now I need to change the denominator to become 100. So I need to find a number which when multiplied with 4 will give me a denominator of 100. So that number in this case is 25. So 25 I cannot keep multiplying only in the denominator. So to do, I have to multiply in the numerator so that the value of the number does not change. Now in this case it becomes, denominator becomes 100 like I wanted, and the numerator becomes 75. 3 into 25. Now that gives us a percentage of 75%. Now there is a second method to do this, 3 by 4 into 100%. So you will take it as 100%. You multiply directly with 100% and try to simplify the denominator. So 4 25 into 25%. That also gives us 75%. Now the second method becomes a little more easier because you always cannot find out what is that number that you have to multiply. In this case, when you are multiplying 100%, 100% is nothing but 100 by 100. So you are not multiplying only in the numerator as it looks like. You are not changing the value of the whole number. You are multiplying in the numerator and the denominator as well. So this is the first conversion that we will be seeing, fraction to percentage. The next what we will be seeing is converting decimal to percentage. Decimal to percentage is really simple. So if I have the number 0.73, now 0.73 we will multiply this by 100%. Now this is nothing but again multiplying by 100 by 100. So again we are not changing the value, but this now becomes 100 into 0.73 becomes 73%. So this is how we convert decimal to percentage. So the next what we'll be seeing is converting ratios to percentage. To take ratio to percentage, let's take the example 1:8. This is a ratio. Now we will write it in terms of fraction. So let's write 1 divided by 8. And now the process becomes same as fractions. We will multiply it with 100%. Now this will give us 2 times 4 2 times is 8 and 4 25 times is 100. This gives us 25 by 2%, which is also 12.5%. Now the last one will be converting percentage back into fractions or decimals of ratio. So the procedure is all the same. Let's say we have 25%. Now we all know that percentage means dividing by 100. So this is nothing but 25 divided by 100. This gives us 1 by 4. So this we have a fraction directly. Now if you want to change it to decimal, converting 1 by 4 into decimal we get 0.25, or you can get it directly from here as well. You can get it as 0.25. And now converting to ratio, again once you have the simplest form of the fraction available, you can write this as 1:4. So this is the way we will convert fractions into either the percentage either into fractions, decimal or ratio. Okay, now moving on, let's say we don't have a whole number of 100. It's always not always 100. So we have 40% here. The question says find the 40% of 75. Now 40% percentage, again we can write it as 40 by 100 of 75. So then we will multiply. Of is always multiplication into 75. Now here, so 25 is the HCF. 25 3 times is 75 and 25 4 times is 100. Again 4 1 time and 4 10 times. So this gives us 30. That means 40% of 75 is nothing but 30. So the next thing that we are going to see is expressing one quantity as a percentage of the next quantity. That means the first quantity is a portion of the second quantity and the second quantity is considered as the whole. So here, first thing that we will have to keep in mind is to keep the units same. We'll always have to keep both of them in the same units. So when I say the first quantity divided by second quantity, because here we are going to consider the second quantity as the whole, and now multiply that with 100% because we need to find out the percentage. So this is going to give us the required percentage. So here is an example to explain it further. We have the question, explain 45 centimeters as percentage of 3 meters. Now we can clearly see that it is not in the same unit. So let's first convert them into same units. 45 centimeter and 300 centimeter. 3 meters is 300 centimeters. Now we know we have to express 45 centimeters. 45 is the portion and 300 is the whole here. So 300 goes to the denominator. Now we multiply it by 100% because we need to find out the percentage, and 101 times, 103 times, 3 1 time and 3 15 times is 45, which gives us 15%. That means 45 centimeters is 15% of 3 meters. So the next scenario is a question where we know the percentage and we know the answer, but we don't know what is the whole value. So let's look at one such question. It says 30% of a number is 270. Now here 30% of a number. Now a number is something that we don't know, so that's going to be a variable which we can take it as any of the numbers. So into x is equal to 270. 270 is the answer here. So here we can write this as 30 by 100 into x is equal to 270. Now we need to find the value of x. So we need to get rid of the extra numbers that are there with x. So let's multiply both the sides with 100. And that will give us 30x is equal to 270 into 100. Right, and now divide by 30 on both the sides so that we can get rid of 30 this side. So that gives us x is equal to 270 into 100 divided by 30. So what has happened? The fraction on the left hand side of the equal to sign, when it goes to the other side, it becomes its reciprocal. So now solving for x, we can have 30 one time in the 30 table, or you can take it as 3 table as well. So let's take it as a 3 table. 3 10 times is 30 and 3 9 times is 90 times is 270. So again with the 10 ones are 10 nines are, and now this gives us 900. So the answer is 30% of 900 is equal to 270. This is how we find the missing number. The next scenario where we can find the use of percentage is to find the increase in percentage and the decreasing. So if there is a quantity which is increasing or decreasing and we have to express it in terms of percentage. So how much has it changed from its initial value? That initial value will be taken as the whole number or the whole. That means that goes into the denominator. And what is that value of change? Only the changed value that will go into the numerator. So the change, now that can also be taken as the changed amount minus the original amount. So that is basically only the change in value divided by the original, and that into 100. So express it in terms of fraction and then convert it into percentage. So to see an example, we have this question. The population of a village has changed from 24,500 to 25,000. Find the percentage increase. Now here we have to see that the original number of people were 24,500. This becomes the denominator. And what is the change? The change is 25,000 minus 24,500, which is equal to 500. So the change is just 500. Now to get the percentage, it's just that you write that in terms of fraction. So that becomes 500, the change divided by the original number into 100. This gives us the value of the solving. We can write 500 divided by 245, that gives us 2.04%. So the change in the population of the village is 2.04%. Let's look at one more example. Now this question says that 20% reduction on a piece of suit is 420. What is the original price? So here we are given what is the decrease percentage and the decreased value. We don't know what is the original value. So we'll say 20% of something. So we don't know what is that. That is what we'll find out, and that is 420. So let's find out what is 20 by 100 into x will give us 420, and now we are going to change the fraction 20 by 100. We are going to move it to the right hand side, so that becomes reciprocals. So 420 into 100 divided by 20. So we just write the reciprocal of the fraction. Now that gives us 2 ones are 210, and that gives us 2100. So with that, we come to the end of this video. We learnt about what is percentage and what are the different scenarios in which percentages are used. In the next video, we will learn about where we use percentages in commercial mathematics, like the simple interest, profit and loss, etc. So if you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe, and watch out for my next video. Thank you.